Hi folks, I'm Sean McCormick and welcome to my channel. Today is Lightroom Tuesday, so we're going to talk a little bit about Prolost Profiles, which I promised I would in the last video, or the one on Tuesday. And of course, I'm going to talk about the difference that Profiles have made to Lightroom Web, that is the browser-based version of Lightroom. So let's hit it. Hey folks, so I did say last week in the Lightroom 7.3 video that I was going to mention Prolost Profiles and have a quick look at them, so I'm going to do that now. But I'm also going to look at how Profiles are playing a new role inside the web browser version of Lightroom. So let's dive into it. So here we are on the page for Prolost Profiles. You may be familiar with Prolost because Stu from Prolost is the guy who created the dehaze presets that were there for people with Lightroom 6 that didn't have a subscription to allow them access to dehaze. So these profiles are obviously creative profiles, and the way creative profiles work is that you get a slider with them, and that when you actually go look at your develop settings, there are no changes to it as well. So even though they might have internal developed settings within them, you don't see them. They're all kind of below the surface and you don't get to change any of them, so you get to apply stuff on top of them. So there are 6 packs. There are Thrift Store, Cephalopod, Lakeshore, Gear Train, Blockbuster and Clockwork. So they're cheap, right? Okay, so like 18 for 23, 6 for 11, 16 for 21. You get the idea. Between, you know, whatever, 50 cents and $2 at the most for per preset, or profile rather. Right, so you can see some of Stu's kind of preview images here, just to show some of the looks, and some of the looks are very, very, very cool. I actually quite like these. I've had a look through them. So I'm going to bring you through them very, very, very quickly. All right, so let's jump over to Lightroom. So I have a little collection set up here with a couple of different images. Now, what you can see them straight over here. So they're basically inside this section here. So we got a couple of them open. They're in alphabetical order. So I'm just going to grab maybe 1 or 2 images and go through some of them with each one. I'm not going to go through everything one because there's a lot of them and that would be tedious, and you would be bored and I would be bored, especially if I'm showing you on a couple of images. And I don't want you to be bored. I want you to find these interesting because they are. So let's have a quick look at blue, cyan, gold, sun drench, summer, and Miami, which is boom. Okay, so I'm going to grab let's grab a landscape. So grab this one here for a second, or maybe grab that. No, well, that'll be fine. Okay, so it's, let me just again, blue, cyan, summer, and Miami, just to give you a quick look at those on the landscape as well. And on this fashion image here, let's grab it on this. As my fans start going, because I'm doing the video record at the same time as showing this stuff. So blue, that's actually cool on that, cyan, and sun drench. Okay, so that's just to show you the variety on those ones. So let's jump on to the next set, which is Cephalopod. And I think he's kind of cheating because they're CP01, so that a CP could be cross-process. Just an inkling. So actually, just put that over there so I can use my slider on this. And so some of these actually suit this particular image really, really well. So like CP08 looks great on that image. It's like it's meant for the tones in that image. It looks really, really cool. Of course, you can click on these and add them to your favorites if you want as well. And when they're applied, so if I apply CP08, we get the amount slider and we can drag the amount slider backwards and forwards. So you can make it much stronger if you want. All right, just by way of example. All right, so let me jump on from these ones here to the next set, which are Clockwork. Clockwork are a cooler tone kind of version of that. So let me grab this landscape image here, just so we're doing a landscape with it. So we're not all sticking to exactly the same image for each one. I'm going to close down Blockbuster. So we can see that these kind of, they actually bring out the blues really, really well. So they're actually really, really cool kind of tone based stuff. Right, so that is a quick look at them and those. Let me grab the shot of Catherine here. Catherine is a beauty model that I shoot regularly enough. So some of the cool tones actually look very good on this. I love the muted tones with this particular image and the tones with the greys and the silvers. So very, very cool for that. The next set then we have is Gear Train. So let me just open up that here. And we will go with our shutter image. Some of these are kind of nice there as well. So like GT08 looks cool on that. GT07 looks great on that. So I'm actually just going to apply that one there for a second. got 2 more sets to go very quickly. So Lakeshore is another one. So let's go back to let's go to our chimney pot here for a second. And so by hovering in and out, we can see what some of these look like. So they all are kind of, it's a very, very kind of cool toned look. And the particular look really suits skies in this one, I find, for that one. So that's why I'm kind of showing it to you with this one. So those are very, very cool retro looks. I love that one there. Let me see that one with this outside shot here. Yeah, so it's bringing out the blue and the jeans there really well. But as you can see, some of them suit some images more than others there. And so we have Thrift Store then. So I think Thrift Store might suit some of these as well. That's really nice there. Alright, and then let me just grab this one of Catherine again for a second. Alright, so they're very... These actually suit band shots is what they'd really suit. Yeah, so that's really cool. On this one here, which we've got one applied to already. So they're kind of bringing out those reds and browns, or the oranges and browns. Right. So that is a look at those profiles. It's very, very cool. Now, as you can see, I've got one selected here, and if I wanted to go in the amount, and let me say I wanted this is G207, so let me boost it. When my slider comes back to me, so I'm just going to boost it. My fan isn't really turning there at the moment, so yep, so I'm boosting it an awful lot. Okay, so that looks very, very cool. Right, so that has been applied. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to jump over to Lightroom Web. So back to my browser here, and I'm logged in. So you log into lightroom.adobe.com. So here's an image that I've shot last week, and we can see here in the profile section that it says Adobe Standard. So if I click Browse, we get a profile browser inside our web browser. So if I wanted, I could select Adobe Color there, for example, or Vivid to make them really bump. Or I can come down here and select one of the available. You'll notice that the Prolost ones aren't available yet. I believe that is coming. Let me say we could grab Vintage 10 there, for example. And of course, if I jump back out of Profile, we can see that we have a slider now below it. So we're able to apply this as well. Okay. So that will now have changed. As soon as I click Save and Exit, that will have changed inside Lightroom. But what I'm going to do is that particular image that we had a minute ago there. So just click on this X to get out. If I go down to my light twister. No, not Lisa Marie. I don't want to look at Lisa Marie. That would get me banned on Google. So jump in here. Alright, and we can edit this photo, and we can see that we have our applied profile. That's actually the wrong profile for some reason. So after a little browser refresh, here we are. So we now have Prolost TS09, which is the one we had before. So this is quite clearly visible here. If I click in the list, though, we can only see the Adobe RAW ones. If I click Browse and we go to the browser, we can see that we do have the creative ones here, but we don't have our ones in the list yet. I do believe that will be coming in a future update, but it's not in the current update. And as it's updating roughly every 3 months, that means it's probably about 3 months. I don't have a date or anything like that for you. So if I click back, we can see that we have the amount slider here. So let me just jam it the whole way to 200 for the sake of it. That's very intense. I wouldn't actually use it at that. And now I'm going to click Save and Exit, so this gets sent to the cloud. And then I'm also going to click out of this kind of single image view and go back to the grid and refresh. Just going to do a force refresh in the browser. And I'm going to jump back to Lightroom and have a look. We're at 100. And if we wait a second here, it should download and jump to 200 like it has there. Okay. So that is showing that there is connection between Lightroom CC and Lightroom Web online. Now, the Lightroom Classic to Lightroom CC interface is not strictly the best. Stuff will not go up and down. If you enter keywords online, it will not come back down. If you enter keywords in CC on your devices, they will not come back down to Lightroom Classic. And when you do a migration, there will be a one-way upload, and that will be it. That's why I haven't done the migration, because I do most of my work in Classic. That's just letting you know that. So folks, do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There's a lot more you watching videos than are subscribed. I'd appreciate that audience. Building the audience is good for me because it encourages me to do more videos. It also means that I can get some money from doing this. I mean, bear in mind that I do write articles for magazines and stuff like that and get paid quite well for that. So doing this stuff for free is taking a lot of my time. So having subscribers means that it's like, yay, it's absolutely worth my while doing this. So folks, like the video as well if you liked what's in it. And if you want to talk about stuff you'd like to see in future videos, please do leave comments below. Alright? If you didn't like it and you're giving me a thumbs down, please feel free to give me a comment on why you gave it a thumbs down. Alright? So thank you for taking time to watch this video. Folks, I will see you in the next one.